Hi, I'm Tina Renna. I'm here with John Berry and Mary Ellen Taylor. We are trying to ascertain the cost of the 2010 Musicfest. We have an agenda we're going to run through and tell you of our experiences and findings, and I think more importantly, what we couldn't find.
We'll start off with how Musicfest became what it is, Musicfest. You've got to understand that this was a major concert back in '06. They had Cheap Trick, I think, at that time. And you walked to Mohegan, and there was a fairly big act. Might have even cost $150,000. How did it get to? Well, we'll get to this at the end. We'll total everything out, and you get a final number, so you have to stick around. How did it get to be this major bacchanalia with everybody involved, national music acts and this Love, Hope, Strength? I think it started in 2007. Love, Hope, Strength is a charity that started in 2007 that pretty much sends rock stars to exotic locations, cancer survivors and Union County employees and their friends. We'll have a list of those right now. Here they are by year. 2007, according to the 990 for Love, Hope, Strength, they had 150,000 in fees from these. The year after it's 30,000. We don't have the latest, but they did get 600,000 in 2008 from some source. We're thinking that's Union County. But you've got to understand, Love, Hope, Strength is important in this Musicfest. They get the acts, and they get George Devaney up to Mount Fuji, plus other county employees. And then there's the people who put this on, and we'll go into individually each source. This Is It Productions gets hundreds of thousands of dollars to set up the stage and miscellaneous things. And as you'll see later, they collect quite a bit that's not accounted for. There are other places. The Union County Arts Center. The freeholders put a lot of money, $6 million plus, into renovating that building and getting it going. And the Union County Arts Center, according to their 990 form, gets about half their money from this Musicfest. Not much from theater rental. They put Joan Rivers was there recently, but the Musicfest is big for them. Also, a little company called Across the River, which comes in and consults, and we'll get into detail on that. So, because they wanted to kick this in, and the county employees, by the way, that's another feature coming up. They get a bunch of stuff out of this. Not only do the county police get overtime money, as well as the Edison and Clark police, but county employees work time and a half. And we totaled up, how much they make. They don't get the money, but they get it in comp time. Some up to 2 weeks in vacation time. So the county employees are on board with this because they have to pretty much sell raffles for 13 hours, and they get 2 or 3 days off. So this all combined, it gets bigger and bigger. There are so many people with their hands in the cookie jar. I mean, they've got this money coming to them, that it just expanded without thought. You'll see, I went to the Oak Ridge. That park is just right next to Edison. I mean, that's really a Middlesex Union County event, so it's not really Union County.
Relatives who abducted them, one Brooklyn woman says the IRS mails a tax refund to her ex-husband. They won't tell her where he is with their 9-year-old son. The Brooklyn Law School rented its library for what it thought was a fashion shoot, but now the school is embarrassed by the racy photos of scantily clad male and female models grinding against law books, computers, and in sexual poses.
But that's another thing. Because they wanted to expand this Musicfest, they closed the golf course. And that's all it's for. Basically, this points out they want to do this. A lot of their friends are benefited by this. So it doesn't really matter what the Union County people think or what they pay, just pay up. And
These numbers are, you know, all over the place. There was the county, which is very important to point out. Mary Ellen does it much more eloquently than I do. There's no spreadsheet of these expenses. This is a major event. Millions of dollars are spent, we're assuming, and there's no one place where they're keeping these numbers. I mean, I couldn't run a tiny little event without at least an Excel sheet telling me who's getting paid what, or some sort of accounting. There's none here, and this is what, you know, 3 people placed Oprah request. I mean, these are the documents just for my Oprah request, and this is what we're trying to sort through here. It's taking hours and hours. It's very tedious, and the conclusion is going to be we just don't know. We really don't know. So I just wanted to point that out.
I guess the most perplexing thing about all of this to me is any major corporation or anyone running a project for a government or a county or anything would have to have a cost ledger. And when you're writing checks for, you know, $25,000, $55,000, $250,000, you're going to have it detailed exactly what they're getting paid for and what they're supposed to pay to whatever vendors, so that if someone doesn't get paid, you don't have a lien on you because they didn't pay one of their vendors. And that's a legality too that is just a curiosity. But the biggest curiosity to me with all of this becomes is how I really got involved with Musicfest is I really didn't ask for a Musicfest Oprah request. I asked for something for the disabled. They thought to confuse it because they knew people were looking for it, they'd send me the Musicfest Oprah request. So when they did that and they sent me very little, I asked them then for the cost ledger. And they don't want to give me an answer to 2 Oprah requests now. So that's very perplexing. But what I find very interesting about Across the River, and this is it, is they're both doing the same job. And why would you pay an extra $25,000 to $50,000 over a premier production company that they've used for several years?
The county, to add to that, the county also pays over $400,000 for public information salaries. I believe there's 6 people that fall, that they don't keep really records in one place of that either. There are 6 employees that fall under that umbrella, although some of them are listed in different departments.